What's going on, and welcome to the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things cars, racing games, motorsports, and more.
Yes. Among Us real?
Oh. Welcome back to the podcast, and that's definitely being left in.
Sure, yeah. I thought it was going to be the audio test first to see levels, but I guess not.
Yeah, you know what? I considered it. I was like, we'll go for it. I normally change the audio levels on the fly
I guess
anyway.
Among Us real is good enough.
Today, in the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things car culture, racing games, whatever, motorsports too. But no, there was some motorsport stuff this week, wasn't there? Max tried to buy a Red Bull or something? Was that a thing? Or was that, not a thing? I know
I watched the Formula E race earlier today, but... I mean,
something to do with F1 Twitter was popping off.
When doesn't it? I don't know. Someone probably said a racial slur as per a weekly slur.
Yeah, the weekly F1 slur. It just sort of... If only they knew the word was NASCAR, you know? it's just...
Yeah. Yeah, easy mistake to make.
It clearly is. But yesterday in the Stick Drift Podcast, a lot of gaming news. Basically, it's going to be a gaming episode of the Stick Drift Podcast with some quick-fire news, which needs a name.
Quick-fire news.
Quick-fire news would be a good name, I guess. A car-related name. The quarter-mile news segment.
Yeah.
But yes, so we'll be running through the vehicular news, the real-world car news for a little bit, and then big news over in the gaming scenes. We'll run through some of the topics that we're going to be on today's episode of the Stick Drift Podcast. Of course, my name is Sid. Welcome back, joined with my co-host Josh L, as usual. Both our links are in the description, and make sure you leave a like on the podcast as well as subscribe and share the podcast.
Watch time's more important. I don't know. Watch it twice. Or subscribe.
Three
one at a time.
times, actually.
3 times, good, yeah.
Share the podcast around because it's one of the main ways podcasts grow. So share it around because we have already won, as the Jeep has already won European Car of the Year.
We could just say something really controversial and get trending on Twitter.
That is true. That is true.
Life hack.
Or we could just be in F1, and then that would be controversial enough, clearly.
Yeah, I don't know. Max Verstappen.
Exactly. Can you believe when he took that turn?
He did the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. But yes, share the podcast, because that's the way podcasts go. Be like, oh my god, this is crazy. Did you know this is 2023's biggest car podcast? Crazy. And you know what?
Crazy.
We might even go on to a bit of the future of the podcast. But yes, the topics of this week, the future of the podcast, partially. Some of the stuff we're going to skim through. We may not even get around to talking about most of this because of the hefty gaming news. Audi has made a concept SUV, which is very snow-built, off-road built.
It will not look anything like that when it gets to production.
No, it's definitely a concept. On top of, you can see it's incredibly long. It will be on screen when we talk about it, if we talk about it. That's because it is on the wheelbase of the Scout, which is massive.
A car, I imagine.
It's the very bottom pick in the published chat. It's essentially, imagine an SUV, but a limousine, right? It's that wheelbase.
Why? Who's buying this?
Someone who wants their front wheels to be in the next state than their back wheels.
I was gonna say you can have your front wheels in France and your rear wheels in under Birmingham or something. I don't know.
That's what it is, right? That's the strat. A potential Kia EV9 spec laid out in customer survey. Porsche did another concept. They did a thing. Can you believe it, Josh?
They did a concept.
They did a thing. What even is that? Whoa!
From the back, it looks like it just looks bad. The front looks alright.
The back looks like I want to say like a TVR. Is what it reminds me of. Do you see a TVR in that back?
I suppose it's meant to be the old.
It's like a Cayman.
An old Porsche.
It's like a Cayman, but if they removed every angle. Like, it's like the lowest resolution Cayman from the back.
Supposed to be inspired by the Porsche 356.
Yeah, which I'm sure it
I
definitely
imagine it looks
like.
a lot like that. Sure does look like the 936.
A ram, which we'll get into.
Why is it
final
been
last
kidnapped?
It's like found footage. And the spotted
duct taped and
is...
zip tied. Like,
So the spotted is like, it's a cardboard box.
it's in pitch black.
Something to do with flying bikes, an Aston Martin, a new Aston Martin revamp. We'll be getting onto that, and not much more other than stuff to do with the Grand Tour. And you know what? I'm looking forward to it. Next episode of the podcast, if nothing major happens, should be the what is coming up in 2023 for both cars and everything, because there's some stuff to talk about. Again, Grand Tour may be entering its last season. The Gran Turismo movie is this year. And then, probably some BuzzFeed tier article.
Fast and Furious or something comes out this year, doesn't it?
It does. Fast X, Part 1, because then 11's the last one.
They're doing it in parts.
Yeah, so it's 11's the last one, and then, well, it's the last in the mainline ones, but then they'll do Toretto and...
Can't wait for Hobbs and Shaw 2.
I can't name a single other person in those movies. It's Hobbs and Shaw, and then there's Toretto. It'll be like Toretto and
Brian,
the God's Eye Woman. That'll be the title of the movie. Toretto and the God's Eye Woman. Caption, Fast and Furious production.
Banger tire, to be fair.
I don't know. So there's a bunch of that, and then it'll probably be some like sub-tier article of cars coming up in 2023, and 5 of them will be Teslas that will laugh about not coming out in 2023.
2026.
Yeah, 2026. I suppose let's begin with a bit of the normal episode's news, which that is stuff like, oh, well, you know what? One of the things we didn't even mention in the segment of, bloody running up the segment of the clips in the thing.
Segment of the
Josh, your favorite car manufacturer, BMW.
Whoa!
It's just revealed the most hardcore M3 of all time.
What does that even mean? That sure is an M3.
Get this, it's an M3, but with like a splitter.
I was gonna say it's a goofy bonnet on it. Like, why is it two-tone?
So it's like what? It's just an M3 but green?
Is it an M3 competition or something?
And now, I know, seeming as this is your favorite car ever made.
Of course. Yeah.
Naturally. Thankfully, you'll be like, whoa, because Joshua, I'm never sure whether to full name you on the podcast. I do it on stream. I'll just full name you.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Loads of randoms put my name in the Discord. It's like, how do you know I thought? Oh yeah, Sid said it on stream.
Because I
don't even notice it because I'm watching on a low volume with just the shout on this side.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yes, it starts. Is that starting price? Well, before you look at the starting price,
120 grand or something.
Well, for those 115 smackaroons, the big 115k, 115.9. So you were closer.
That's an alright.
But it's a BMW M3 too.
You're looking at just a worse. What? Like, you're gonna lose half the value the second you drive it a mile. Like, I don't get it.
It's not even one of the like really tonk ones like the M8, right? Like at least the M8, like the M8 looks like it's been to the M8's on steroids. The M8 is on steroids.
Yeah. This is just like, it's a car.
Yeah. What does the old M3s even look like? Because there's an M3 in the crew, right? That's where I recognize it from.
Yeah. But it's like one of the, like, the 2007 ones, right? It's just really round and soft.
But for your £115,000 price tag, Josh, you can get a whole of... well, apparently it's 20 kgs lighter than 1.7 thousand kg.
They drained 20 litres out the fuel tank when they were weighing it. What?
They did the Volkswagen like they just did a Volkswagen.
They added helium in the tires. It just
So,
weighs less now.
oh my god, making the M3 CS £41,000 more expensive. But
Is it made out of titanium? I don't.
Get this. It's but it's cheaper than the Giulia GTA apparently, which is 150 grand.
A Giulia ain't gonna depreciate like this is.
When have car companies started charging this much for essentially sedans with trainers on? Like when has this happened?
If you pay 120 grand for a BMW M3, I'll sell you this water bottle for 400 grand. I don't know. Get more use out of it.
It's just but then what you do is you unscrew the bottle, pour a bit out, and then go, it's 3 grams lighter.
Look how much lighter it is than a full one. Like, it's almost empty. Whoa.
Like, the thing with a car like this, right, is maybe, like, because I see, when I'm cycling, if a car catches my eye,
a Lotus Evora is 70 grand.
Exactly, right? That's insane.
You could buy an Evora, supercharge it, modify it loads, and it would still be cheaper than this and hold its value back. Like, who is this car for?
You'd kind of just have to be a muppet to buy it, right? Because there's the BMW audience, right?
Look at your BMW. What do you think the BMW audience?
Like, the BMW audience I picture, right, is the classic word that gets you demonetized on YouTube archetype. The C word, the Australian word, the C word, those archetypes of BMW drivers.
The diesels are always owned by businessmen.
The car meet drivers.
And then you get the world's rattiest M5 from like 1991 that's powered together with tape. But just doing Mark 5 down the M1, just because why not?
But a car, here's the thing though, the suit BMW drivers, they'll buy the more estate-looking ones. They're not going to buy a
they'll buy like a
one.
7 Series diesel or something, like a 728i or D.
And the car meet ones are going to buy an older... They're going to buy like a 2010.
You'll buy like a 2001 M5 or something
like that, right? Like, something where they can justify burning up the tires every goddamn night in a car meet, right? Like, it's odd. I'd love to see who it sells to. I would love to see who it sells to. It's got the top to bottom.
You have to be a special type of person to drive a lime green BMW
lime
M3.
Green too, right? It's a video game car. Is this car? This car's just made for video games.
Yeah,
it has to be. Like, acceleration from 50 to 75 in just 2.6 seconds. That's a measurement, apparently. Propelled.
I could walk from 5 miles an hour to 15 in 8.7 seconds.
Crazy. I mean, when you think about it, that's quite a while short. I mean, how fast is 15? When I'm saying, 15's pretty fast actually.
15's pretty fast, yeah. Oh, boy, it's not even running. It's just walking. Same walking animation. Just go quicker.
Yeah. It's like a GTA mod. Like you're running at the same pace.
Yeah.
But, what are these measurements? And but what does this even say? It's a 3-liter straight 6, an uprated version of the same engine found in the BMW M3, and by the way, this is from Autocar. BMW M3 and M4 can propel the M3 CS to 62 miles an hour, not 60.
62 miles an hour is 100 kilometers an hour.
Oh, is that what it? Oh, is that why? Oh, that's stinky.
Yeah.
Ew. I just didn't know that.
You just take 0.1 or 0.2 off the 0 to 62 time.
From standstill, so they're not Teslaing it, right? Apparently...
Oh, you don't know this. You don't. I don't trust them. Look at this thing.
It seems like they just had a hard-on to compare it to the Giulia. 3.4 seconds, which is 0.2
that is on a track
seconds.
Strip. You aren't getting 3 seconds on the straight on those tyres.
Quicker than the Giulia, apparently 0.2 seconds quicker, apparently.
Whoa, that's really worth. That's really...
You save, what, like 20 grand?
An Alfa Romeo Giulia doesn't have half the reputation of this does in a positive way.
yeah, that's crazy. That's wild.
What would you rather you seen getting out of? This or a Giulia?
Again, it's weird, because anyone who would want this car, why not get anything else in
You could literally, if you want a sports car, get the Lotus. If you want a luxury sedan, get the Alfa Romeo.
Right? Like, I feel like something like an F-Type would take the same place as well, because it's like, BMW.
F-Type's a lot less practical. This is a four-door.
True, yeah.
The Giulia is also... Like, the Giulia is a great
Yeah.
comparison, to be fair. But it also has much more prestige, much better brand image.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a toy car.
It's a racing game car, is what this is. But BMW are weird with it. They've got their finger in every. They've got their grubby mitts in every goddamn pie.
Them and Mercedes make a car for every bracket.
Yeah, like Mercedes has got the funny, like, it's just like every shape of Mercedes. It's like it's the front, and then it's every single shape of
Even
car.
their vans are pretty similar.
Yeah, but then like BMW, like you got stuff like the i7. What is BMW doing in the Rolls-Royce Bentley scene, right? Like
they can afford to.
Clearly, right? It's just how much do most of those sell at that point?
God, they can't sell very well. They have to lose money on stuff like that.
I assume, stuff like that must be money losers when stuff like the default estate, the next default estate will make its money back.
They're making 40 grand profit on this, so it's just an M3 that they've
but it's got
removed from sound deadening and I don't know, less insulation. And whoa, 20 kilos later.
Chucking in the Spotted While Spotted segment into the podcast main segments because we're going to be jumping into gaming soon. I know it's crazy. Let me know if you can keep up, Josh, because I don't know if you'll be able to,
I'm struggling.
Already. It took me a minute to realize what was going on. When I first saw it, I was like, wait, that's disgusting. And then I realized, they've got paneling over it. This is the Spotted While Spotted for the new Aston Martin revamp. And straight away, I went, so the front is now Darth Vader. But what it actually is they've covered the Aston Martin bit of the front.
But why have they done that? Because you can clearly see where they've covered and what it's going to look like.
Maybe they've been smart about it, right? Maybe that's not where it actually goes. Ooh.
It's like you can't see the holes for ventilation where they've had to cut. Yeah.
It'll probably look like an Aston. I don't know.
I mean, it already does. It's a more aerodynamic Aston Martin, I guess. Sure. Probably cost less than the M3. So
yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's one of the newer Aston Martins I kind of liked. I mean, obviously we had Ewan Thiakaren on the podcast this week. Just check that podcast episode out. A big Forza content creator. His dream car is an Aston Martin. DBS, the old one, not the new fancy one. But
it's like old Aston Martin DBS. It could be any Aston Martin. Like they all look the exact same.
It's one of the ones that does look like every Aston Martin definitely have a golden era. I will say Aston Martin have a golden, and it's one from then when they all looked like basically what the one that Ewan liked. When they all look like this. Because I feels like they've never really struck that gold again.
That could have been 5 years ago.
This could be 5 different Aston Martins. I
couldn't tell you what that is. I know it's a DBS, but as you said, but if you show me that image and said what Aston Martin is that.
To be fair,
I give you a list, but it'd be one of them.
I talk a lot of waffle about Aston Martin's design hasn't aged too well. I'm not gonna lie to you right now. This, to me, doesn't look crazy bad. It looks like it's in a GTA showroom, though. Let me find a better image.
New Aston Martins don't look awful. Especially compared to the early 2000s ones like that.
Yeah. I can't
Ford era Aston Martin was a mistake.
Aston Martin might have just won me over. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's kind of a beauty.
New Aston Martins are nice, yeah.
Oh, that's an absolute...
British.
I would say, to me, that reeks of a Jag, but better.
It's a more higher class Jag F-Type is what they are, really.
Yeah. God, that's really winning me over. God, I'm going to stop looking at it. I'm going to start drooling soon. That's crazy. That's wild. And then they've got that one that's really boxy, right? What is that thing? That thing's crazy.
Just like sure make cars.
It's the... Oh, yeah, you know what? I found it just by seeing which of the autofill names sounded the goofiest. It's called the Victor. This thing. That's an
That
Aston.
looks awfully unaerodynamic. Like,
but it's cool because it's got that like boxy design.
why is it angry? Like, why is its eyes so light? Hey?
It's in GTA, of course, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if that Aventador leak is already in GTA.
Yeah.
But yeah, this thing's unique at least, right? But
Yeah.
then they do goofy stuff, like the Aston with the one with the you know what? It was another one that Ewan talked about.
Valkyrie.
On the wheel, the Valkyrie's goofy as well, right? Don't get me wrong. The Valkyrie is the other one I was gonna mention. The one where on the front bit, they just have like a panel that sticks out and comes back in. Like that's all it is. It's just a panel that sticks out, comes back in. The 177 has it. Aston Martin.
That's like one of the most expensive Aston Martins you can buy.
But one of the ones for the Forza DLC has it too. These like they do cool stuff now clearly, and then they do this. Like I don't like this design at all.
They only made 77 of them or something. Whoa,
Exactly, because
look
it's
how
called the
unique that is.
177. See,
This
so
is one of
I did the
77.
same thing on the exactly. It was crazy. What? See, that's crazy. But Aston Martin.
I'm surprised I could sell 77 of those.
Exactly. But ones like this, that's if I had a lot of
What
money.
Aston Martin is that? Aston Martin
That
DBS.
is, the newest DBS. Like, if I had a lot of money, I assume it costs a lot of money. I think it's the newest.
I'm literally searching price right now.
Yeah.
227 grand. Yeah, that is a lot.
Jeez.
Well, considering an M4, what's an M3 costs 140 grand now,
Yeah.
whatever, 120.
It looks clean, though. I can't lie to you. That looks clean. Aston Martin have won me over. They've won me over. You know what? Good on you, fellas.
I'm sure every Aston Martin employee is cheering.
They're
right
cheering
now.
right now.
Hey.
Yeah. You know what, Aston Martin? You might even win a Stick Drift Award this year. Behave yourself this year, and you might.
Send us one Aston Martin DBS.
If I get sent a
please.
DBS, I think I know who's winning car brand of the year. You know.
I'm sure that's a worthwhile investment from them.
It should be. You know, it should be. Imagine the promo. You know how they put it on the. You know how they put Game Awards on box arts.
Yeah.
When they sell cars now, you'll have like the price tag on the inside, and then you'll have winner of a Stick Drift Award.
Before the price. Before the price, obviously.
you know. Because then it doesn't even need the price then, you know. At that point, it's just connect your bank account. However much goes. This thing won a Stick Drift Award, you know. It's this thing could be worth billions at that point.
Exactly.
We do need to rein in the aftermarket value of a Stick Drift Award, you know, because it's getting out of hand. We're adding too much value to cars.
The reason it cost 224 grand is because it won one.
It's because
without
exactly.
it's 5 grand max.
You know what? Right, given the Jeep winning European Car of the Year 2023, I hereby give the Aston Martin DPS Car of the Year 2023.
Don't think it came out this year, but sure. Congrats, Aston Martin.
And
I
there
hope
you
you do
go.
with that what you will.
Next on quickfire news or whatever this is. So the news segments,
Impromptu
but
segment 1, I don't know.
yeah, but we talk about it for like slightly less longer or whatever. I get what they went for. It was
It's
all
gonna look
flat.
nothing like that when it releases. What are those headlights?
I doubt it's ever going to release, right? I think it's just concept for concept's sake.
Did they not say it was?
Did they say it's going to release? Let me see. This is again by the good people over at Autocar. Porsche 356 Reborn for 2023.
No, it's a concept only.
There you go.
I apologise
Yeah.
greatly for my misinformation.
So it is supposed to be the Porsche. Oh, I recognise it. It's supposed to be this Porsche right here. The one that looks like that, basically.
It sure is a Porsche.
What model of Porsche?
They
is that?
haven't
It's
changed.
The Porsche. You know what? For the audio listeners, you better just have every car memorized off by
356.
heart. The 356. There you go. You know that Porsche? Imagine that. But I mean, I get it, right? The thing about that Porsche is it's all smooth. It's all smooth, basically. But it still has headlights that stick out. This thing's just all smooth. They just like.
It's just you can see it's just a 911, but it's been restyled slightly.
Yeah. It's
Sure,
like they left like a the buffer thing that it's like a thing that spins and you buff a car with it, right? It's like they left that on for too long over the whole car and then had to go, wait, paint
Put it in
on
a
the
rock
headlights.
tumbler. Like, yeah, put a 911 in a rock tumbler. It comes out like this.
Yeah.
It was smooth. It was smooth and shiny.
It's like it's got like NASCAR headlights. Because they're flat on the car. It's the arrows are nice, I guess. I'd go as far as to say the rims are probably the coolest thing on there. I don't know, the 75 looks cool again.
It's just kind of uninspired and zero effort. Cushion is meant to be their 75th anniversary
retro,
celebration.
yeah.
Like, what even is this?
What
The name is just so
What
funny.
does that 75 logo look like to you? What's the logo design of that 75? It's the TikTok logo.
It is. That actually is, okay.
It's the TikTok logo for their 75th anniversary. Oh,
I also
no.
like how it's based on the 356, and they've called it a 357. Like, they've got to one up it. Like,
yeah.
This is
get
better.
Get it, cause 35, get it, ooh, yeah. And the 357, 75 is in the name. Cause it's the 75th, whoa!
TikTok sponsorship.
It's the TikTok, it's the TikTok Porsche. Yo!
Whoa.
Now, you know what? This is some vigilante behavior, to be fair. I like the headline, right? Because it just makes it sound like Buick is the Batman of the car industry. From the fellas over at Car and Drive, Buick will be buying out dealers who don't want to start selling electric cars.
Buick afford to do this. Like, what do they even make?
Exactly. What is Buick run by Bruce Wayne? Like, huh?
It's a front. It's just a front. They're gonna
It's just-
change them into just I don't know sweet shops. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. But it's odd because it really is just like it's like a vigilante move. Oh,
Also, only in the US would dealerships refuse to sell electric cars. Like,
am I crazy or Buick rebadge Vauxhalls?
oh, it's a GM brand. Yeah, no, they can't afford to do it.
Oh, sorry,
Look at those.
Yeah.
Like, those are. I
Not-
feel so bad for the Americans. You pay more for a last gen Vauxhall. Like,
that's terrible, actually. That's
I
rough.
pray you get the new one soon.
Just import a Vauxhall, maybe. I don't know. Just import.
Not allowed to.
Oh, can you not? Oh.
Car's gonna be 25 years old to import it over there.
Oh, that's odd. To be fair.
They can't imagine if they got the new Vauxhall Mocha. These would never sell.
True.
It'd be cheaper and a better car.
Oh, to be fair, have they not done... Wait, so Opel's under GM as well, though, right?
Opel is Vauxhall. Vauxhall is Opel. Yeah, they're the same brand.
Yeah, but then they also... So I guess... So... And then what's the Australian version?
Holden these nuts.
Holden these nuts, yeah. So it's Holden, Vauxhall and Opel, and then they're all the same car, and then Buick
Saturn
rebadges...
also sold rebadged Vauxhalls at one point.
So it's just... It's... What...
GM has one platform and they will use it for everything.
What is this business model? It works, clearly.
Bad
but, like,
cars for as cheap as possible.
Yeah. Do they just fear having what's the word, right? Like when a company wants to go into a different country and they change their name when they go into that country, right?
What's the difference? You know the image on the two Buicks in the middle right now?
What's
the difference between the two in the middle?
One's got... Now, these are apt comparisons. One's got a Hurricane front where it slopes in quicker, equivalent to a Hurricane clearly, and one's got more of an Aventador front where it goes further.
Those are the same car with a different bonnet.
It's the same car with a different front 10%, basically. And I'd not even say the front bumper, just the chunk right after the bumper is slightly shorter on the left
Buick
one.
meant to be luxury?
I don't even know. Maybe? Because,
like... I've never seen that one on the right, to be fair. I don't think we get that over it.
No. But the rest
get
of
one
them
exclusive
are all...
Vauxhall. It still has a Vauxhall front. I don't know what the back is, though. Imagine a brand of Vauxhall brand is like a luxury brand.
Yeah.
That's so far.
That's unfortunate.
A last gen Vauxhall.
Yeah. But on top of that, Audi jumping into the SUV scene. They've got SUVs, but this one is an EV.
Well,
EV? Is this an SUV?
They already have an EV SUV, I'm pretty sure, and an
Oh
e-tron.
yeah, they've got an e-tron, but not an e-tron.
They've just got
right?
a Q7 with an electric motor in the front of
But
it.
this was, I mean, it looks it because no grill, right? This is the Audi EV Concept
Why
thing
has it
that
got
is
a bubble on the front?
I was gonna say
Like
it's
a,
got
a
like
port,
glass.
like a port out, so you can put the kids in there. They can
Yeah, I was
look
gonna
out.
say it looks like someone could shit in there, right? Like it's odd.
It's an aquarium. Take your fish with you and all of that.
Yeah. You know what? It's got the same build as that one. What's the Volvo company that's not Volvo?
Polestar.
Polestar. You know that one Polestar we talked about, where it's like a wagon mixed with an SUV, where it's SUV
Oh,
built.
yeah,
It's SUV
yeah.
stanced, but like really low, basically.
Yep.
It's like that. They've put a sedan with SUV wheels.
Yeah,
That's what they've done there. Like, you take, like, it's essentially a concept car from 2005, except they replaced the wheels with SUV wheels, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is to preempt, because they are going to be working on a SUV a rugged SUV, so we're talking more Hummer type, right?
Ooh.
Instead of like
Can't
a
wait for that to sell 0 units.
yeah, like a Land Rover type, right? Which is the current one. That is based on this thing. The wheelbase for, I'm not even sure what this is. The Scout? This looks
Like a
the Audi.
knockoff Defender. Like if they added the Defender to GTA, the new Defender.
Maybe on the Scout. What is the Scout? Scout car? The
Scout from
Scout.
Titanfall.
Well, is it? Well, it's most of these are military vehicles. Essentially.
Yeah, you're not gonna find that. It's gonna be buried under like a military.
Oh, it's a
like,
Volkswagen. It's a really long Volkswagen that looks like a.
That is a Land Rover Defender.
Yeah.
Like
And essentially, like this, maybe again a really long like thing.
that's just a Bronco. Like what?
Yeah.
What? They're just like, oh, we'll have some of that, combine it.
Yeah.
The Bronco Defender Audi edition. Can't wait.
And then something to do with flying bikes, right? Like something to do with.
Oh,
flying
somehow it
bikes.
doesn't require a license, but I don't believe that.
I think it's just kind of like I mean, you know what? I wouldn't put it past either government, you know. But it's something to. I think it's just it's a fun title, right? It's like flying bike that goes this electric
63 mile an hour.
Yeah, requires no license to operate from the guys over at Autoblog. It's just, I guess
That
it's just
has to be in the
funny,
US.
right?
There's no way that is illegal in the UK.
Oh, no.
You could
they'd be-
decapitate an entire city worth of
Yeah,
people with this
yeah.
weapon.
I mean, I assume
Like,
it's
it would
still-
be, if there was no license required, it would be 5 weeks tops before
Yeah.
one was stolen and flown into a crowd of
Yeah.
people.
But, I mean, also, you know what? I think it's not even the license. I think, sure, maybe it doesn't require a license, technically. But I assume it still has to deal with some kind of air traffic control, right? I assume wherever you're flying, you'd have, like, the council of that area.
Yeah, I can't imagine you could just fly over Heathrow Airport in one of these and not get
Yeah.
executed.
Even, like, 10 meters off the ground, I assume you'd have to get big, approvals, planning, make sure it's in a field or something, right? Like, sure,
It would have to be
probably-
above private property and no higher
Yeah.
than like 10 meters.
Exactly, right. Like, sure, maybe it doesn't require a license. Probably requires a lot of paperwork, though. You know, there we go.
What were you on about?
I was on
Quadricopter.
about something to do with paperwork, I think.
Oh, yeah, there's no way this would...
It would still require dozens of... Presumably, I mean, correct us if we're wrong.
You could
know?
never fly this in a populated area.
Exactly,
Never.
right? Like, no shot. Yeah, it's... You'd get... Like...
You need a license to fly a drone
Yeah.
in the UK. You would need a signed letter from the king himself to take this thing off. Like,
And because it's like a flying thing, right? Hypothetically, say they go... Like, the police show up instantly. They go, stop doing that, maybe. Say you just don't. You don't, like, destroy anything. But say you just hover in the air. What else can they do other than call in some part of the military to get
it's
you
got
down, right?
batteries. It will last 5 minutes max.
Oh, yeah, true, right. I don't know. Say you, what's that one, like, paradox, like, smart thinking thing? You get one that refuels you, and that keeps hovering back, and that one charges you, and then you gotta have another one that charges you or whatever. Something like that, right? You know, this thing's goofy as hell. But unless you have something more to add.
If it weighs more than 250 grams, you have to register with the Civil Aviation Authority.
Is that UK?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. You need a license in the UK.
Which, to be fair, it looks like the UK in the back. You know, it's a
It looks very
decrepit
US.
tree.
Those silos are
I guess
UK
you don't see
silos.
these silos, right? Yeah, true. But from there, I believe, essentially, we now go into an extended gaming segment. So, the gaming segment of the Stick Drift podcast. Yes, we could talk about what's going on this week in the crew, this week in Forza, and this week in Unbound.
Unbound has so much. They nerfed the Regera slightly, but not enough where it's still the best.
We'll get on to that. Let's begin with that, I suppose. So, the biggest news, well, not the biggest news, but the biggest 3 sets of news. I'd say there's 3 sets of news, conveniently, each part of the big 3. Forza, the Crew 2, Need for Speed. And to start off with, Need for Speed got news. So, we talked about, on the Stick Drift podcast last year, we talked about Need for Speed getting its first few updates. We reviewed the game when it came out, we talked about the game, etc. And what ended up happening was I was like, sure, that'll be good, I think. Because how I interpreted the exact words they wrote was...
I called this, by the way.
You did, to be fair, you did. So their exact words were something along the lines of updates in first update in January. Maybe I was naive, okay? Maybe
I've had enough EA experience to know that is the biggest lie ever written.
I was just trying to be optimistic, but yes, I did say, oh, if it's by January, that'll be pretty nice, actually. I think
do
that
the
would
same
be
with
great,
every
you know?
game. They'll talk about it on the date they said they would, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, in 2 months.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, yippee, this will be great. We'll get an update, and it'll have game modes and
I guarantee you, all those ones that leaked won't even be out on the update. They'll drip feed him over the lifespan of the game.
Yeah. And then what happened was that announcement, that update was instead an announcement. And that announcement, so that patch, because we got some patch notes, right? Are those in the game yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it was. It was an announcement of and a release of some patch notes, which were utterly terrible.
They don't fix anything. They don't address. It was just Regera, Golf, and a Ferrari nerf. I'm pretty sure that was it. That was it.
Yep.
The Ferrari, not the Ferrari, the Regera isn't, and it's still the best by far. The Golf is still the best by far, and it's a Ferrari. Who cares?
And according to
they didn't fix any of the downclassing issues, the broken exploits. It's still
there. You go.
Cheat engine works in online is what I say.
That's shocking. And to be fair, right, to flip the tables on me being the optimistic one, I was saying, like, boys, what if mods are able to be used in Unbound online? And everyone was like, no, they'll stop the mods in online. They won't have the mods in online. It
doesn't have an anti-cheat.
There you go. That's the issue, you know? And we're stuck in that, like, endless loop of bad game now, basically. More people are playing Heat than are playing
It's leveled out.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good. There you go. Unbound's on the comeback, you know?
He just died down a bit. It hasn't gained any more concurrence. Unbound. He's just died down a bit.
Yeah. But on top of that, you know what? That's upsetting. That's upsetting, honestly. I had big hopes for Unbound. I thought the game was good. I thought it would be good. I thought it
had the possibility to be good, but EA exists, unfortunately. So.
But more stuff in the racing game side of everything was, again, something maybe you followed a bit more closely than I have. Forza Motorsport. We got new gameplay.
I don't have faith.
And apparently people were very, very disappointed.
All they spoke about were graphics.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yep. Which is not a great sign in the slightest.
Yeah.
Everyone has wanted a physics overhaul for years.
Yeah. Is it
And
not on the new engine?
all their, it's on the new engine, yeah, but all they're speaking about is graphics. Oh, look how pretty this is. Oh, look at this. New tracks. Look how good the ecosystem looks.
Yeah.
The gameplay they show us doesn't have good physics demonstrations, and they don't talk about it.
What if it is just one of those engine switches as well, where you just don't even notice? What if it's one of those engine switches that is basically only for the graphics? That's gonna be unfortunate.
It seems like they're aiming for the Horizon approach, where pretty gameplay is second.
Yeah, well, and that gameplay in second will be catered entirely towards the casual audience.
It's motorsport. It always is. It's the same as Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
It's always catered
yeah.
towards the casuals.
Yeah. Which I guess, presumably the strategy at this point is, hey, Horizon gets a lot of players. Come play the game we actually like maybe, please, actually. This was the game we made first, actually.
They
did you know
have
that this was
the
first?
money to make one of the best sims in existence,
Yeah.
and they basically flower reviews.
Yeah, yeah.
Like iRacing and Assetto Corsa had like a strangle. Like they're like the newest one of those like 2013, I think.
Yeah.
Like they've had a stranglehold on the market. All Forza need to do, or all Microsoft needs to do, is make just even for one of them, just for like or not even a non-numbered series, for example, just release a motorsport that with just make a sim, just make a sim.
What game is
Please.
it? Was it not Motorsport that was something to do with the physics are made to be like a real car or something?
Motorsport 1 was the best they could probably manage on the hardware at the time.
So they
And
really
as
peaked
it-
early then, clearly.
And as they progressed, it got more and more casual audience. And the casual audience don't want sim physics.
Yeah, yeah.
But they don't want arcade physics.
No, that's the issue.
So it's become a simcade, same with Gran Turismo.
Yeah, and it's really stuck. I mean, it's got like comical. One of the things is that it's like PvP's comical, right? That like it's all just ramming and it's all just like there's no
Yeah.
rep system. What is the driver?
Like a driver
rating?
rating. is
Yeah,
what
it's got
Gran
none
Turismo
of that or something, right? And like
Yep.
most of anything that I saw for Forza Motorsport was private drift lobbies. I don't think I ever saw anything to do with the PvP or the actual racing. It
Yep.
was all private drift lobbies. Was the only thing it seemed anyone cared about for Motorsport. Which, I mean, I assume
I
you have
don't have
real
fun.
tracks and stuff, right? But
I hope. But
It's-
what's the point of having a track racer
yeah,
that's not a sim?
at this
It's
point,
like my whole what thing.
at this point, it's just I want to say, sure, maybe there's probably devs who are passionate about it. Surely at this point, it's just a counter to Gran Turismo. Surely it just exists because Gran Turismo isn't on
because
Xbox.
Gran Turismo exists. Yeah.
Like Gran Turismo does what they
It's
do.
so that the people who enjoy Forza don't
Yeah.
go and buy a PlayStation.
Exactly,
It's the
right.
whole reason that game franchise
Yeah.
exists.
Like, if
it's
you're a
such a
racing
shame.
game guy who plays Xbox and someone's like, or like, more of a sim guy instead of Forza, right? Because Forza.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh, well, what about Gran Turismo? It's so they...
The way
Yeah.
the way that like esports racing events work, like the 24 hours of Le Mans and stuff like that, is that owners of those games buy the license for that year. right?
Yeah.
Imagine if Microsoft make one like they dump Forza Motorsport budget into making the best sim humanly possible.
Yeah.
Then buy those licenses for a year and basically get free promotion. Well, it's not free,
Yeah.
because they pay for the license, but it'll be very good promotion.
Would you hypothetically not fall into the car X issue where you're too niche? What, like with the because it's Microsoft, right? Microsoft wants something that will make money, and what will make money is something that
iRacing and Assetto
applies
Corsa
to
exist.
everything. I suppose, but do they do Microsoft level sales, right? The big number that Microsoft wants to see. I suppose iRacing isn't really the game making money. It's the wheel manufacturers making money in iRacing. And
I've
Assetto
seen their
Corsa.
subscription service. Oh, they make money.
Okay, I haven't seen that. No.
Costs like $1,000 or something to buy everything in the game. They make money.
Oh, that's disgusting.
But that's because they have no competition. They can
Yeah.
do that because no other game exists like it. Because no one is willing to dump money into it.
Yeah.
Project Cars 4 got cancelled, which was the closest we would have had, and I'm still not happy about that. EA done that, by the way.
Because they would have learned their lesson too, right? Because 3 was bad
It was
or something.
confirmed that, like, the head of Slightly Mad was like, this is going to be the most realistic sim ever.
Yeah.
And EA were like, and just cancelled it and moved them on to work for Dirt and Need for Speed.
Yeah, that's when they bought all of that stuff, right?
Codemasters.
Yeah, when they bought Codemasters. Rest in peace, you know.
I called that as well. I said I guarantee Slightly Mad Studios is getting dissolved.
Yeah. Josh,
I hate
predictions,
EA.
chat. I say chat. The viewers of the podcast.
My predictions with EA are good because I know they're going to do the worst thing they can come up with.
Yeah.
Like, they get 10 people in a room, all the directors, and are like, so, how bad can we make this? And then have a vote, and yeah.
And then now we can gritty in F1. Whoa!
I think that's still funny. That's funny. They
It's
copied
funny,
the
no,
emotes
it is.
from
It is.
other things that they had. They just put the gritty in F1.
Yeah.
FIFA,
Oh,
that's the one. They copied FIFA
yeah.
animations and just put one to F1.
And they're all in Unbound too, and
Yeah.
like it's just like I know because I've got the money throwing or whatever, and it's terrible.
Cheating in F1 esports is a massive issue now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
What's
because
the
there's
one
like
that-
because F1 is big now. There's like £700,000 tournaments
Yeah.
in a game that has no anti-cheat, where people can play from home.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can see how that
Yeah. Yeah. They do
Not
like
great
I don't know
idea.
surprise webcams on, and it's just Max Verstappen
Well, even with
sat at the
webcams
wheel.
on, like they have like grip turned up because it's editing the game files is how easy it is.
Yeah.
Just go into the files and turn grip up by like 3%.
Yeah.
That's the kind of
terrible.
stuff people are doing, and it's getting them like a second a lap or something. There's no real way to tell unless
And
they
those,
set
like,
an outrageous
events,
lap.
right? Those are like an event that happens where everyone does the gaming and whatever, right?
The gaming and the gaming.
They do it because like there's stuff like what's the Trackmania? Those get uploaded to a thing, so those are always there, so people always care and are always looking through them. Are these events? As in like in the moment it happens, and then you know they just can cheat.
Usually it's usually caught out when they're playing multiplayer. Because they're live streaming it and they're taking the worst lines known to mankind and getting like lap records.
Yeah.
So, and then they're like, how are you doing that speed around that turn?
What is it with like GTA gets it, and GTA's terrible. GTA gets it. Sure, whatever. Mods when playing solo. Sure, who care? But then insta-ban if they do it in online, right?
Issue is that game engine is ancient.
Yeah.
That game came out on the PS3. Do you think they have that ability with that game engine?
True. I suppose it's just like it's probably
EA
just a
has no
flawed-
excuse. They just don't care. They've done it. They've got it with Apex, which was on a much older game engine than F1 and
Yeah.
Unbound is on.
It's
It's a frostbite. Please.
that is terrible. That's incredibly unfortunate.
Daily EA runt.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Still not happy about Project Cars 4.
And Unbound's getting.
It just seemed to be an unfinished version. I would have played
You know
it.
what? They tried to do that thing where they did the Wendy's thing, right? They did the be an edgy Twitter account thing when the game was releasing, right?
Backfired, which I think.
Which did eventually, but it was always going to, and it did eventually backfire, and they had to apologize and whatever. Which then everyone was like, "No, why are you apologizing? Be edgy, no, be edgy." It's like just hope, right?
They either would have had to have weathered out with how the game would have had to have been good for them to weather it out. Knowing the game is going to be as bad as it is, I think it's good they apologized.
Yeah, right. Like it's yeah.
Like they don't really have an excuse.
Because the guy was, oh my god, hindsight is 2023, right? Because the guy,
That's a year reference.
I know, right? Like, whoa, comment. Lamau, if you're watching in 2024, like, hey guys, it's
Comment,
actually
I was
22
here in 2340.
Exactly. Who's watching in 2024? You know, I lost my train of thought. Right.
Why?
The guy was complaining about the, like, extra bundle, right? Like, he wasn't complaining about anything else. He was complaining about the paying more for the extra bundle. That was notorious for being terrible.
Yep.
The early access doesn't mean anything once it's done. It was only 3 days, which originally I was like, sure.
People still are having trouble accessing Palace Edition content.
You get the money you only get in online. Sure, it's 150. In online, you make money 10 times quicker than story.
Yeah, that's 5 races.
And then and then the cars, they're not like Crew 2 Edition cars. It's a separate thing in the thing. It counts as a separate car. It's unique customization that you can't get on the base game one. It's just you get the car. You don't even get the car.
You don't.
You
it's
get
just
to
delivery
buy
for a
the
car you have to pay
with the livery.
Yep.
It's crazy.
As much as we clown on Ivory Tower for doing nothing,
You know
EA
what?
somehow
You rap about
does
that for a
less.
minute. I'll be right back.
I will hold this thought for a minute. Unbound was a disaster, though, like, unironically. The way that... I don't know what they expected. It could, like... It needed another year, minimum, to be good.
The guy was right. The guy was right. 3 days wasn't really worth anything. The cars, you don't get the car. It's not a separate car. It's not a unique car. You get the opportunity to buy the car.
Yep.
And, yeah, like...
Yep.
EA Play was more worth it than the Palace Edition.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate.
And then people were defending Need for Speed for it. Oh my god. Oh wow. That's actually wild. I've just realized that.
TikTok does the best combination of being LA of edgy marketing. Lotus on TikTok does the best combination of edgy marketing and just being an AI. Like,
yeah.
EA needs to take notice.
That's wild. Oh my. But yeah, so what I was saying was they were being all the edgy Twitter account. They were being the edgy Twitter account at the beginning, right, leading into the game. And it was like maybe to like build up, you get respect from, it was cool, I guess, right? Oh my god, it's a brand doing an edgy. Woo, they're doing an edgy, but it's a brand actually. Whoa, right? For like 2 seconds. But now when you look back at it, that respect really does wear thin when it's the exact same account saying you'll be able to turn off the cartoon effects. Not true. Promising updates in January. Not true. Right?
It's your fault for trusting, yeah.
You know what? Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
Like, if EA says something, they mean 2 months in advance. Yeah. Every single time.
Like, retrospectively, which of course, whatever, right? I suppose saying retrospectively can be deemed, like, hypocritical, but, like, realistically, it is just retrospectively. When you look at what's happened now with that same account, or the funny, edgy, whatever, they said to someone had a milkshake brain, actually. That's funny, I think. Like, and then got milkshake companied back, which...
That was such a good
Top 10 Twitter moments, honestly. That feels a lot more, the edgy stuff feels a lot more with hindsight now.
Yeah.
Given the fact that the game is in the state and the Twitter's in the state that it is, right? Unbound, man, Unbound. But from there is to one of the bigger, I'd say, only paralleled by the Horizon, by the Motorsports kaboom, right? Was the Crew 3 news. We got even more news on the Crew 3. And that news was along the lines of...
Insider program starts February, allegedly.
Yes, so the Insider program, which is early testing, begins February. On top
means the game's in a playable state.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
Right. Given that, allegedly, so here's some extra information, allegedly the release date is around September. So they've got a playable game.
It's concerning how fast they've whipped this up, though.
Yeah, well, to be fair, started
Map
development
was finished 20. If the map is what it is, was in 2019's a bit of a the map was finished in 2021, early 2021. If it's the same map,
I assume when they switched from a DLC to a full-blown video game, they expanded everything, right? There's stuff that we know that we really... I mean,
that's bold to assume from Ivory Tower. I reckon the map's going to be the exact same.
Yeah. I mean, what I'll message you, right? Like,
allegedly.
That stuff... Like, I assume that's one of the things they decided, we'll really expand, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so...
Well, I'd assume every spec is going to have a major expansion part to it.
Yeah.
Like, a complete overhaul of how events work and a new spec in each one.
And it seems like it's going to be a seamless carryover from the Crew 3 to the Crew Motorfest. So here's allegedly...
how. Because it's on Snowdrop. It's going to be on Snowdrop. It's confirmed, essentially. All of their new... Even Far Cry is switching to Snowdrop now. Dunia is done. End of the line.
Yeah.
Are they really? Duty is impossible to work on, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So, are they really gonna have cross between from Dunia to Snowdrop seamlessly?
Yeah, it would be interesting.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
It took them forever to get 60 FPS to work.
Well,
seems a bit more complicated.
So it could be seamless, but a bigger likelihood is one of the things that we did get more so, well, confirmed, obviously this is all grain of salt, reputable sources, but grain of salt, right? One of the things that was semi-confirmed with the connection to the Crew 2, is, I've got it, it's in me head, garage transfer. So that will probably be a thing. I suppose that's
from one person,
Yeah,
and that's something I reckon they would consider scrapping if it's meant to be a standalone major IP.
Yeah,
because it doesn't sound it's sounding like a major IP, not just a Crew 2 expansion kind of style thing.
Yeah.
So I reckon they're gonna scrap garage transfer. Dunia is a mess. There's no way they can get that to work.
Yeah. It would be interesting to
it would break.
If it was like a seamless thing, right? Like you buy a new car. It would
also defeat the whole point of the next game.
But also,
the Crew is a collection game,
right? But Ubisoft want big things from it. Ubisoft essentially
they want money from it.
Yeah,
that's what they want.
What the words were it should be the next. Well, it's a Forza Horizon competitor. That's what it's going for now.
Which worries me. Because what is Forza Horizon known for? Car quantity over quality.
Yep.
Map quality over quantity. Like, it's going to be a small map with this high-ish detail, which, from what the images basically confirm that. And I feel they're just going to pad the car list with waffle. If they're going for a proper... I hope they don't go to a Forza-style physics. I hope, but...
I mean, that's one of the biggest points of contention, right? That the map, the Crew 2's map, is iconic for how big the map is. It's the game with the big map. Makes little sense when you go from the game with the big map to one island in Hawaii, right?
What does Ubisoft say? Forza Horizon makes money. Crew 2 made less money. What's different about Forza? Map smaller.
Yep.
You've got to see the 70-year-old executives' gears turning in their heads.
Yeah, right.
I know what they should do.
Exactly, you know.
Small, high-detail map.
The executives see...
That might be why it's not called the Crew 3, because it's not really a continuation of the Crew franchise. It's the Crew Motorfest, because it's not really...
So one thing I was... one of the bigger bit of news this last week was that a image had been data mined off of the early testing for the game.
It's about the Insider program, which I don't know how you data mine the Insider program, but go ahead.
But from that was revealed something along the lines of, it was an image that said the Crew Motorfest. It had
the Crew Motorfest Insider program, and then starts Feb.
Yeah, which essentially confirmed the artwork, the... Am I crazy thinking back to it right now? was the artwork very much not just the Crew 2. Because, yeah, the fonts maybe one curvy R removed from the
Motor
font.
Fest, the Fest is different. But...
Yeah, but it just looks like a stretch of the font. That's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out, because, again, it seems like they just want to go from one to the other. It depends how much they're gonna change.
Ubisoft has had, the worse it'll be.
Mm.
I hope Ivory Tower have managed to keep it, like, closed. One of EA's biggest successes is Apex, and that's something they had no idea was even happening. So,
well, I assume it's
please,
like
please.
I assume it's like people, well, the executives will see stuff like, oh my god, Forza's getting a Top Gear collab. Forza's getting a... What other big collabs do
All
they
are doing is seeing Forza is making money, more money than the Crew. How do we do that?
Yeah.
And that's not the mentality to have. Make a better game.
One of the main
Don't
things
make a Forza clone.
Yeah. One of the main things I've said is that the map is the biggest reason the Crew 2 has been able to go on for as long as it has.
Yep.
Because if they did
the map is the selling point.
Yeah, if they did everything the exact same, like all the updates, the events that they added, everything was the exact same, but on a Forza-sized map, people would have been bored by update 2.
Forza's map is one of the reasons it's quite boring. There's only so many events you can fit in a map that small.
And until you start just recognizing exactly what road you're on again, right? I guess Forza,
the Crew's whole thing is explore the USA, like all these roads.
It's like it's the game with the full
US.
US.
The Crew 3 is just it's not even Hawaii as a whole. It's an island of Hawaii.
Like every single mainstream game reviewer will just be like, so the Crew's trying to be Forza now, right? If it is just...
It is.
Yeah. If it's
like,
just...
It's not even... It just is.
Yeah.
It just is trying to be Forza.
Because it'll be higher quality graphics.
It's going to be Snow Shop, which
Yep.
I guarantee they're using solely for the better graphics, and they're just going to focus on graphic fidelity.
Yeah.
And one way to achieve that is to have a much smaller map.
Yep. So we're gonna have to see what comes of that, because I mean, it's hype. It's hype, to be fair, that we got a confirmation.
Well, you've got to think, the Crew
September.
follows the past ones, to follow what Ubisoft is doing at the time.
Yeah.
What's Ubisoft doing now, apart from losing money?
Good looking, bad game.
Yep.
Which, I mean, yeah, so that's one of the things that I community posted in the Twitter before, and I've said that before, was that, interestingly, thank God the Crew 3 didn't come around at the same time as Watch Dogs 3, right? Because, essentially, Watch Dogs 1...
better than what we're going to get.
There you go. Watch Dogs 1, dark, brooding revenge plot. Same as the Crew 1. Watch Dogs 2, woo, get viral, get famous, right? Plot. Same as the Crew 2. The Crew 3, Watch Dogs 3, doesn't... I mean, to be fair, Watch Dogs 3, good looking, bad game, right?
To be fair, that is. Oh, no.
They cared a lot about the map in Watch... Apparently, the map is one of the best bits. Apparently, it's a really good London map. The game's pretty bad, though. Right? Like, apparently the map is great.
What is concerning is how quickly it's been finished. Like, it feels like they're rushing it out before TDU.
Yeah,
and I don't like that.
It was... Well, to be fair, TDU's 2020 this year, right?
It's rumored to come out around September.
Oh, they'll be directly
Which, you know what that lines up with.
Yeah, they'll be directly competing.
I guarantee they are going to either... If they don't get it out before TDU, I reckon delay till December.
Yeah.
They're going to try and rush it out so they can try and steal as many sales as they possibly can.
Yeah. Which I guess we're just going to have to see what ends up.
TDU might be a great reason for them to keep it on past gen.
I mean, I think it's definitely going to be... It's going to be a game that within a month everyone's going to be like, oh my god, did the Crew die straight away or whatever? Like every racing game, right? Every racing game within a month everyone's like, did this racing game die actually? It just... We'll have to see whether...
Crew's a great example of holding on.
Yeah, like
I don't think Ubisoft can hit gold twice.
The Crew is one of the, I would say, the best racing game for long-term updates. Everyone shares it, even you and Forza content creator, he said it. People who despise the Crew 2 craptastic Jack, he said it. The fact that they've been going for so long is impressive. It's impressive that they've done as much as they have.
Well, it's because Ivory Tower doesn't work on anything else.
Yeah. Right,
it's not like Criterion where they're being held at gunpoint to work on Battlefield.
Do you want to make the 5th Star Wars game? This is Star Wars: The Stormtrooper Strikes Back. Actually, make that now. And now
all every tower have to do is the crew too.
Yeah.
So they can actually just like devote a few staff to constantly make crew 2 updates.
Yeah. And
make
that's
a
what
bad
we're stuck
crew
with.
3.
Yep. But honestly, I'm pretty hyped. Honestly, all in all, regardless,
I would have seen. I'm not
going
gonna.
Career, right?
After seeing those cinematic trailers, I am not trusting a single thing I see.
Oh, the
in
moment
this
we see a cinematic
trailer.
trailer. Yeah, so, I mean, I've gone through on live streams. Check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already.
Borderline false advertising.
The cinematic trailers for the Crew franchise have been borderline false advertising.
Yeah.
They're nice set pieces, I guess.
They are great cinematic trailers.
But the
games aren't anything like them.
The not in-game footage should be converted to nothing to do with the game.
Yep.
And be across the entire screen.
It's like they gave a completely different studio a storyboard.
Yeah.
And like create a cinematic trailer based off this, and they had never seen the game before.
Yeah.
Like they've got the same bullet points, vaguely, but everything else is completely different.
And hopefully, I mean, the game's gonna make my career. Regardless of what happens, I'll be set as a content creator. The moment
Early
it pops
Crew
out,
3
right?
content, even if the game is terrible, will be great for the channel.
And I'm gonna stick around with it. I'll within the 2 months, I'll be the content creator who's still making videos on it.
It better not take 6 months to get PvP.
There you go. That's the
if
issue.
PvP hasn't had a rework,
that would be funny. That would be hilarious, actually. My hope often, because there's a lot of things I ask for that never happen, but I know Ubisoft know and hear exactly what I say, right? Oh, Jesus
race
Christ.
gear and a PvP update.
Hopefully every single bit of those things, my cope, right? My cope is that, hey, this didn't get added to the Crew 2, I talked about this over a year ago, is that maybe they're putting it in the Crew 3, right? Instead of working on it for the Crew 2 as an update, they're putting it in the Crew 3. And that's what we hope, I guess.
Yeah.
And at the moment, all the rest of it that we know is that Season 8 is the last confirmed season, but we have no information on that yet. So from there, I believe, I don't think there's much else in gaming. We can just be led into the final segment of the podcast, Motorsports Monday, the segment held exclusively on a Saturday, and uploaded on a Sunday. What is in Motorsports Monday this week?
I watched the Formula E race. Well, apparently one of 2. I didn't even know there was 2 races in a weekend for Formula E. And there sure was racing. They have like blue neons on the car, which I think is kind of cool. They don't have spoilers. They're like X-wing things at the back, which sure.
Yeah.
Them being shorter races definitely improves the viewing experience. Because I don't think I could watch like 50 laps of a Formula E race.
That's what it's the NASCAR behavior, right? It's like it's just how mind-numbing can it be, right? Well, I don't know. I don't watch F1, right? Well, like every 5 laps there might be an overtake. Like it's like what? Like until people start pitting and the
Formula E is more interesting because it isn't as high level as Formula 1. So you get some very funny dive bombs. Like 2 people, like one person went into the wall and one person almost went into the wall on ridiculous dive bombs that were never going to work, but it's just interesting to watch.
Honestly, they should just...
It was a race. I don't even know who won. It was a race.
I mean, Jeremy Clarkson said it a while ago, right? It's just that they've made it so boring, right? Is that no one can do it. It's all penalties, and it's all penalties, and it's all...
I mean, the thing is, it's closer now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
The racing. It's just back in the day, the cars were a lot more interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Now, it's just kind of... The cars are so stable, so safe, that it's just kind of... Unless Latifi's on track...
Exactly.
Nothing really is going to happen.
Which, rest in peace for the first Motorsports Monday, where there's stuff to talk about.
Apparently. I think he denied it, but there was a rumor that he was going to IndyCar, which would be a ridiculous switch.
That would be brilliant.
Imagine Latifi in IndyCar. The Americans would get a taster for the greatness that is Latifi.
Latifi is the best F1 driver ever to touch the track.
Can't believe F1 fired him for being so good.
Exactly, right? I mean, I reckon it's something to do with an inside job from Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton. I assume they've met up. And
Latifi gave Max his first championship.
Yeah. They wouldn't be anywhere where they wouldn't be where they are without him, really, right?
Yeah.
It's shocking.
We couldn't have Abu Dhabi 2021 without Latifi.
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
So when does F1 return? When does that return?
We get to see cars February, March. Early March is pre-season testing, and then towards the end of March is when we get the first race, I think.
Okay, well there you go. And then by then, we'll have a Need for Speed Unbound update! Yay!
Can't wait to see Williams in last every race.
Exactly. Hey, they got a new driver now, though. He's gonna be...
They should just cheat at this point. Like, if they get caught, they get penalised. How? They can't lose any championship points.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just use an illegal engine at this point. Just the entire car is illegal. And just
what
absolutely
if the new
dominate.
driver's cracked, though? What if he's just really cracked?
Finished, like, 4th in Formula 2. He's not going to be cracked.
Wait, why?
He's American.
Why did they
He's
go
American.
in 4th place? What, was there not a first place? Did first place deny?
He's American.
No.
But, like, that is the main reason they're getting him. He's American.
Yeah.
Which, keep Latifi at that point. He's Canadian, I don't know. They're close. Williams have just doomed themselves. I don't know. Albon's gonna have another year of fun in that car. So.
You know what? I think you're a hater. You just wait till Williams is first in every race.
Honestly, if they should stop it rocket fuel in that car, anything.
Yeah.
Pre-season testing, Williams 1-2. First race of the season, Williams 1-2. In pre-practice 1-2-3 qualifying and the race. I call it now. And then they get disqualified because, I don't know, Latifi was secretly driving as for sergeant or something. I don't know.
But from there, I think we can sort of just cruise down to that. Also, I just realized, how funny is it that there's still no Test Drive Unlimited news of any kind?
I don't think that game's finished.
I don't think that game's being made. That's right.
KT Racing are lying about that gaming system.
Well, they'd have to be early testing by now, surely, if the game, and there's no word on that. Like, unless no one cares.
You see, the state of the game was in when we last saw content. It was a Lamborghini Performante in a white void.
Yeah. It's odd. It's odd. But, some more stuff on the future of the podcast. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but essentially, because I was talking about it on stream, so I thought it only made sense to talk about it on the actual podcast, is that, subscribe and, 1,000 subs, etc., going higher and higher, and eventually we reach 1,000, and then monetization watch time, and what you boys will see then is next to the subscribe button will be a join button. Someone did pitch a Patreon, which does sound enticing. It does sound enticing, but just having it all in one place feels a bit more, it makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
But the plan is that, there'll be a join button right next to the subscribe button. And it'll be a simple amount. We'll probably have two. The plan is there'll be probably like a £5, £8 one. Around that amount, obviously that would adjust based on the currency, etc. And then probably like a £40 one, but every month or so, you like the extra amount that you'd be paying, like the £8 value will be for the membership, and then the extra amount will send you some discounted merch every month, basically, right? With the higher paid one. So, because then again, the £8 will justify us making merch, and then the extra amount will send you the piece of merch every month. So again, you could either have the £8 or get the 40 or 50 or something like that, which will come with like a hoodie. It won't be like a phone case. If it's phone cases, we'll send you like 5.
Send them like a mug or a sticker.
It'll be like just some stickers, yeah. But yeah, you'll see a bit of merch every month as well if you got that one. On top of that, will be stuff along the lines of... So here's how it'll work. Here's how the channels will work. Because you'll know the Stick Drift channel. The Stick Drift channel will be essentially the channel, to say. As in, like, when the
On
members
all of YouTube, the
yeah,
channel.
it is the channel. It's the channel. So essentially, when the Stick Drift podcast, it gets members, we're able to promote enough. Hopefully, you guys are supporting enough. We're able to justify. We can take an extra hour out of midweek or something, right? We'll do a video. Well, 2 hours, whatever. The more that it can be funded, the more we can produce. So there'll be me and Josh hopping on an old school racing game of some sort. Doing a watch-along plus a retrospective on some car-themed movie, right? The Fast and Furious is. We might even watch Ford vs. Ferrari. Not Ford vs. Ferrari, sorry. Lamborghini. We might even watch Lamborghini. But watching through those and content like that, we might even, again, say budget grants it, go to a car meet, film there, and whack
Budget grants it, cost fuel.
What's the one?
Budget grants it, yeah, all that fuel cost. Whole fiver.
Well, obviously you work full-time, I work full-time, so to justify taking the day out to do it, basically, right? So going to a car meet, doing stuff there with a vlog, stuff like Stick Drift. It's go to Silverstone, Stick Drift go to Goodwood, Stick Drift play Most Wanted 2012 or whatever, right? Stuff like that.
F1 drivers would be a banger.
Exactly. And that will go, and I mean, hey, again, say we're at like a 500k sub channel, we have the budget to rent out like an F1 track and like 2 goofy looking F1 cars, right? But it would be cool to do stuff like that. Obviously, it's well in the future, and it's like whatever, right? You could sit here and be like, oh, but that'll never happen, and yeah, maybe it'll never happen. But it's stuff like that. It'll be produced content. It'll be that kind of stuff that will go up on the Stick Drift channel, and then all of the members, so that will be every week. It'll be a weekly video, basically. Yeah. And then there will be an extended cut. And we're talking, like, say, 20-minute video on the main channel, on the Stick Drift channel. We're talking, like, 40 to an hour on the main. We'll leave in a big chunk of the good bits, the best bits, extra bits, if needed, right? Plus, an extra episode every week. So, when the podcast is monetized, it'll be just one video on the main channel, plus the clipped up segments of the podcast. And then, on the podcast channel, it would just be the podcast, unless you join, where you get the podcast, the extra podcast, and the extended cut of whatever that week's video is. And I think we'd be able to run that decently enough, right? Again, when as budget increases, for the beginning, it probably will be us playing old school racing games suggested by the members, right?
I can't play Driver San Francisco, so that one can't be suggested.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we could do it like, I forget who they are, but the style where they play old games in general, but where it is just one guy playing, the other guy watching, and then both just talking about it, which, given for Driver San Francisco, you might have to. But yeah, some like produced content, which main channel, and the you'll see stuff expand, etc. That'll be good to do. Of course, 2023 seeming, I don't like to say it as a definite, seeming like the year that I do hit 100k subs on the main channel, especially with Crew 3. That's going to be a lot more extra promotion to the podcast. So, again, watch time is a big one. So, watch the podcast. If you watch this far, big ol' appreciation.
I was going to say, watch time is more important than subs at the minute. So, watch it twice on... What's the hack to get more watch time? Like 0.5 or is it 2 times speed?
Like 0, maybe? 0 speed. Watch it at 0.
Don't watch it, so
yeah, yeah. But yeah, of course, subscribe. 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. There's a lot to go, but again, podcast every week. And then when we're able to do the extra content, that will be coming out as well. And it's all fumes at the moment, but they're good fumes. Tell you what, they're the oil or the oil smell. Tell you, it's those kind of fumes.
It's the oil smell. That classic phrase.
It's that everyone says. It's like, this idea. That's a real oil smell.
That's a real oil smell.
But yeah, so that is about it for this week's episode of the Stick Drift podcast. Tune in next week for the usual car news, as well as the big things upcoming in 2023. We will see you boys.
I mean, if you've watched this far, comment, I watched this video twice.
Exactly. There you go. Comment down below. I watched this video twice. Share the podcast. Like the podcast. All of that good stuff. We'll see you boys in the next one in a bit.